This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever I said. So basically, we got 3 live people, and then everybody else on the show is a stiff. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. Oh, let me grab it here. We got Kristen Burt's not on today. Well, but we do have Phil Mackey, Chris Egert, Bob Sansevere, and Tim Lammers.
I think it's still a pretty packed show.
Yeah, but it's bottom of the barrel pack.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
None of them are Kristen, but
yeah,
but they do all right.
You know. Kristen's out selling heroin or something. I don't know what she's doing.
Dude, she's just this whole time has been a drug king or queen pin, I guess. Yeah,
Queen pin. Let's call her Queen Pin from now on.
What was that show with Sofia Vergara?
Yeah, I think it was called Queen Pin, wasn't that?
I don't think it was.
No?
Was it?
It was something like that, though. You mean where she played the drug
Griselda?
Griselda.
Griselda.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just easy going folks with nice people. You know what I mean? No question about it. There are so many bad headlines today. I can't possibly read them all. By bad, I just mean stupid stuff. It's just, this is unfortunate. Ethel Kennedy did die yesterday, who drew on faith to endure family tragedies. Yeah, if you're in the Kennedy family, you better do some praying. I'll tell you that. Holy Anna. I still can't believe, though, they killed 2 of the brothers. That's amazing. Has that ever happened in history before where 2 brothers got killed like 4 years apart?
I don't think so. Well, not in that kind of high level family and in such, because wasn't one like a mysterious plane crash out in the ocean?
Oh, you mean early on?
Yeah. Or
that was the third. Oh God, that was, what's his name? Yeah, he was piloting the plane.
Yeah.
And it crashed and killed he and his wife, I believe. I don't know. There's so many Kennedys now. I don't even know what the hell the first name is.
I don't know. It's like, I know one's name is Robert. And then, there's just a bunch of them. There's a junior somewhere in there and probably another junior and they're all over the place. There
are some juniors in there, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of politicians, an imprecise biography. You mean lying? I love it. An imprecise biography. That's a lie, is what that is.
Because at least they're honest.
Good God. They're honest about lying.
Yeah, not everything in this book is going to be accurate. But
an imprecise biography catches up with Tim Walz, Democratic VP nominee, vows to be clearer. It's not being clear. You lied, and you knew you were lying. It's not about being clearer or being imprecise. You lie more than any living human. I challenged him to a little battle, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet.
Oh, I expected him to be waiting by the phone.
A duel at high noon.
Sir, I would love to debate this guy. Lie, another lie. That boy does lie more than anybody I've ever seen. Look, you vote for whomever you want. I'm not trying to steer anybody's vote here, but this guy, does he ever tell the truth?
What's the saying? Like, you lie like a dog.
You lie like a dog. You lie like a rug. That's what my grandma said.
There you go.
My grandma used to say, you lie like a rug. Democratic VP nominee vows to be clearer after exaggerating his proximity. He didn't exaggerate it. He wasn't imprecise. He lied. Okay? Let's not try to clean it up because he's your guy at the Wall Street Journal, which is not, by the way, a liberal or conservative press. It's kind of in the middle. But just forgiving, the guy lies constantly. He's lied his entire career, as a matter of fact. But I don't know. You do what you do. You vote for who you want to vote for. I don't give a rat's ass what the deal is. Because the lead story today, and nothing's ever going to touch it. You guys seen the lead story about what might be going on in the world?
Nope.
Somebody, and I'm trying to find exactly where it was, because I do need to find out exactly where it was surrounded by 100 raccoons.
Oh, I think I saw this yesterday, but I didn't click on the story.
Holy Hannah.
They ended up calling 911. Yeah, this was wild.
100 raccoons. Why 100 raccoons? I don't get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. It looks like this was in Paulsbo, Washington.
Paulsbo?
But yeah, there are raccoons everywhere, and they're not causing any trouble, just all kind of hanging out like a neighborhood barbecue.
It's true. They're surrounding this. There's 100 raccoons. Now, do they have any idea why this would have happened?
It looks like the lady told deputies that she started feeding a family of raccoons decades ago. And everything had went smoothly until about 6 weeks ago, when the number of them showing up for food went from a handful to around 100. So they went and got their friends and family and said, "Hey, there's a nice lady over here handing us breadcrumbs. Bring your sister."
Bring your sister. I like bring your sister. That works for me.
I like it.
No question about it. Another big story, another big headline. Rescue climber plucks man from atop a 250-foot tall radio tower in Egan. Why did this man climb up the radio tower?
Yeah, I don't know, but they were able to somehow like set up a bunch of ropes and had somebody climb up, grab him, and bring him down. But yeah, 51 years old. So I would assume some sort of mental breakdown, because you don't just wake up and, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to climb that today.
I don't know if I'd go 25 feet, much less 250 feet. Jesus.
Yeah, they're saying, quote, a male in crisis had scaled the Salem Media Group tower off of Cliff Road. So that's a long ways up. Like, you got to be determined and kind of like locked in, because I feel like at a certain point, everybody's going to get that urge to like, yeah, let's see how high up I am. And then you look and you're like, oh,
yeah. And he was treated for like cold exposure symptoms.
Oh, really?
I bet. Yeah, because that high, like those wind gusts are so much stronger than you can even think about.
Mm-hmm.
I should have gone out there. I wish they would have called me, because I could have talked to him directly and said, "Look, man, just hang on. We'll send somebody up there." I know it's disgusting. I was disparaged as well when I worked with Cumulus, but don't jump, man.
Yeah.
They're the bad guys, not you.
Yeah, to get them down, they were like, "Hey, it's okay. They're gonna sell the twins. Come down. It worked. Calm down."
It's selling KQ and the twins at the same time. We'll try to improve the world with a 2-beat. Yeah, it works for me, man. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. Uncle Tommy's seeds aren't big enough to climb a 250-foot tower. It ain't ever happening.
No, I worked a job once where the highest we had to climb up was 300 feet. And I remember standing on the ground and, all the other guys that were, I'm at the time probably like my 22 years old, 23. And there's a bunch of grown men. Yeah, we're going to climb this, no problem. Tevin, are you scared of heights? No, I'm not scared of heights, guys. I'm a man's man. Of course, I'm going to climb to the top of this tower.
Sure.
I got to the top of the tower and just locked up. They're like, "You can go back to you can go back to the ground now.
You can go away now. Leave me alone."
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's. I suppose we better. We got to talk to some lame guy. What's his name? Flip, something like that.
Ooh, I like that.
Something like that.
Should we just call him Flip from now on?
Yeah, sure.
Works for me. We'll take a break. Be right back. So, yes, we are not going to invite the 100 raccoons to surround us. We are not going to climb a 250-foot tower, and we're not going to pretend we weren't lying for the past 30 years. If you were in politics, 30 years, that'd be pretty short, though, wouldn't it?
Has he been in politics for 30 years?
No, I'm just talking about the lying bastard politicians anyway.
Oh, yeah, all of them, for sure.
I don't know. He's been in politics for a while now. Was it Nebraska first? Isn't that where he's from? Is Nebraska?
Yeah, but he was a teacher.
Oh, so he's that bad a guy, really?
I like teachers.
Oh, God, you would.
Yeah, my parents were both teachers.
Yeah, see, that's like I said. They were what'd your parents teach?
My mom does like kind of preschool, kindergarten right now, and my dad does he did like middle school science for a long time, but then kind of has been shuffling around and is now in like administration type of role.
Oh, so in other words, he tried to work with some chemicals and they blew up, so they put him in the front office. That's what you're saying?
Oh, I would say it's a promotion.
I would say it was a promotion. No, I got to be honest with you. And, I understand it's me in this one. It's not them, but I've never cared for teachers. I don't know why, because I suppose I forced myself to learn all those things before I ever went to school. And I'm not saying they were all bad. I just didn't see any need for them, I suppose, for the.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like from what you've shared in the past, like you just didn't have that great of experience in school. And so I don't blame you for maybe having that kind of viewpoint about it. But, I'd on the other side, I would say, other than like a couple here and there throughout my entire schooling. I had a very lucky stretch of amazing teachers. So
no teachers ever took a run at you too? Is that what you're saying?
Nope. Honestly, yeah, most of my teachers were good, and honestly, good for them for putting up with me and my group of friends that I had growing up.
Were you a horrible guy?
We did not make things easy on our teachers.
No, I mean, at all. To be totally serious, I did have a couple of really great teachers. Mr. Egert at he was not related to the Eberts family that worked here, by the way, but he was a great teacher. He was the coach of all the sports, and he was the teacher, and he was the 8th grade guy. No, I did have some really good, but I did find out later, I got to be honest with you, maybe this is what soured me to the whole deal, but I had some friends that when they grew older, like in their mid to late teens, admitted that a couple of nuns or priests or whatever took a run at them.
Jeez.
It's hard to like anybody when you hear that.
Yeah, there are definitely some that will ruin it for the rest of them, but for the most part, it's a thankless job that they're able to do well. It
is true. Are they making enough money now? What do they work, like 4 or 5 days a year? Is that what teachers work now?
They work more than you think and make not as much as they should.
Yeah. I thought they did make a lot of money now.
Oh, no. They still have to buy their own supplies for classes stuff. Yeah, they're. Anytime I hear teachers complain, I don't think it's too out of pocket for what they're complaining about.
Yeah. Especially given like the new generation of kids that are a little more unruly, that seems, than the last, and even more unruly than the prior to that. And it's just, I feel like teachers need a bump in pay.
Although I got to pass along. We got to get going here. We got to get to Phil. I understand, but
absolutely,
the teacher I just talked about really liking, and I did. Mr. Egert was a great guy and all the rest of it, but when it came to wrapping up the basketball season, he is the one in front of the Archbishop and all the rest of them. We won the Twin Cities Catholic school title or whatever it was. Right? Why I mean, I was on the team. Doesn't mean that
that counts.
That counts. That's the kind of I'm talking about. But Mr. Ebers was a guy who got to me. Guy Laurent, you're phenomenal. Oh my God, Jim Brown, what a great center. Oh yeah, Bob Tyson bringing that ball down. Tom Barnard, Jesus Christ. He said that right in front of all the priests, the nuns, the Archbishop.
Somebody in the back's like, hallelujah, amen.
Exactly right. Oh well, I'll attempt to read a commercial and try not to destroy it like I've done everything else in my life. Is that what I should do?
Yeah. And then we'll get the flip.
Okay, that works for me. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, and he is my guy. He's a very good friend of mine. Mr. Money Talk can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. It's never going to be sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Do not let your financial worries give you an ulcer. Yeah, you don't need that. Or keep you from calling Josh right now. Give him a buzz. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Right now is a great time, too, because the economy still scares me. I'm telling you. And Josh knows all about how to fix that for you. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
This is Brett Paul from Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley. We've always had a professional sales staff on our show floors, but recently have added a few more to the arsenal. Neil Hadding was a salesperson at Valley for over 2 decades, probably the best truck guy around. He left for a management position elsewhere, but decided to kick back and return to work with thousands of his old friends and customers. It's a similar story with Tim Condon. He spent many years in the sales and finance at Valley before spending time in Alaska, to the relief of many, many friends and customers who returned a few years back. Not a returnee, but a welcome addition to our seasoned staff is Charlie Fink. Charlie followed Neil to Apple Valley to head up the finance department. He is well known to many Twin City car customers after being in the business for over 3 decades. If you're looking for a familiar face or just the face of experience, visit one of these professionals at Jim Paul's Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or at valleycardealers.com.
Look at that. My old pals over there at Jim Paul's house. Let's take a second to talk about my bank. That would be North American Banking Company. You've heard me talking about them for a long time now. When they opened in 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you know your banker and they know you. While a lot has changed since 1998, this commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities has not. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com or stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, SKOR North's Phil Mackey is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I got to read a headline to you because, we talk a lot of politics on the sports, and this is not really talking about politics, but this headline is like, do you do anything right? You ready? This is in the Star Tribune, and it's not about 100 raccoons surrounding someone, but that story's in the news too. 100 raccoons surrounded a guy.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Don't feed the animals.
Did they kill him?
No. A lady for years apparently has been feeding a family of about 6 raccoons, and then one day they went out and got their extended family, and about 100 raccoons in Washington showed up.
They brought the relatives.
Yeah, they did.
Come on over, hey cousins, this is great. Okay, now that we're on this side street, hold on, we'll get to the headline in a second, but
right,
you know, like you look at a video on like TikTok or Instagram or any social media platform, and the algorithm thinks that, oh, you want to be served all sorts of those types of videos. And at some point in the last couple months, I watched a video of like a domesticated raccoon where like a woman had a pet raccoon in her house. Did you guys know there's like a whole group, I don't know how big it is, but domesticating raccoons is like a thing.
Yeah.
Instead of having like a cat or a dog, there's people like scratching the belly of a raccoon on the couch while they, put their little claws in the air.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. People love raccoons. It's like you're saying, like having a little dog. But this lady had 100 of them, and the police said it cost about $500 per raccoon to cage them and transport them to a different area.
Wow.
Holy Hannah.
Don't feed the animals.
So 50 grand?
That's what they quoted her for, and I'm sure she's
50 grand to move the raccoon.
That's our money, right? That's taxpayer money?
Yeah, I assume she didn't write that check, so.
When are we going to stop? Honest to God, here, you should pay. Well, that was going to be my thing. I don't want to read the whole story, just the headline. And when are we going to learn to stand up to these sons of bitches? Minneapolis to look at new taxes as downtown values plummet. Well, who caused the downtown values to plummet? Would that be you allowing people to sleep in the streets, allowing crime to run wild without trying to stop it? Let's people overrunning. You destroyed the city, so now it's going to cost the taxpayers more money because you had no idea what you were doing.
You know who did this, Tom?
Who?
You know who caused the downtown values to plummet?
AJ?
The decline in attendance at Target Field, thus the Pohlads, caused this to happen.
Okay, see, right there. Are you going to buy the team? I heard you were.
No, I heard you were. Going to put this is your shot,
baby. I could put together about 300,000 friends and buy it.
I got a couple dollars. Let me check my wallet real quick.
Exactly.
So the Orioles sold a couple of years ago, whatever it was, for $1.7 billion. And that's kind of a comparable price range. So.
Yes, it is. Do you have any idea who's leaning toward it, maybe buying the team? Because I haven't seen anybody jump right up and go, hey, I'll buy it.
It's too early to tell. I do have a little bit of reckless speculation for you. I will say that our Twins beat podcaster Declan Goff did reach out to, I think, is it Steve Greenwood, whoever the contact is for like facilitating anything to do with the sale. He's based in New York. And Declan reached out and asked him 4 or 5 questions via email yesterday, and he basically said, hey, thanks for the email. No comment on anything. Enjoy your weekend. So
leave me alone.
They're still early in the process. But I will say, Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry, who are in the middle of a legal battle to buy the Wolves, before they put in a bid to buy the Timberwolves, 3 years ago, they attempted to buy the New York Mets.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And then Steve Cohen came in and eventually won the bidding for that. But I don't know, maybe, I mean, people might say Alex Rodriguez has actually owned the Twins for 25 years if you look at the on-field playoff performance. But
that's true.
But that could be interesting. I think the Wilfs would be great, man. The Wilfs are such great owners of the Vikings.
Yeah,
baseball's a totally different business, but I'm keeping an eye on them too.
I would love to see what seems to be the trend for both soccer and golf recently. Just get somebody from Saudi Arabia, like a sheik.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because
how about some blood money? Let's get some blood money in here.
What's the Live Tour up to?
Because frankly, winning multiple championships is going to put all of that cautious aside. Like nobody's going to care when Baron Buxton hoists the third consecutive commissioner's trophy at Target Field. They just don't care. They're going to spend so much money. The Twins are going to have every ace in the league. The lineup from top to bottom is going to be it's going to make Minnesota a major market, baseball market.
And don't get me wrong, it'll be a rough first year of people boycott the Twins and everybody hates the Twins because of the Saudi money, but people stopped hating. They let those golfers back on the PGA Tour eventually, so I think it would work out.
PR is going to be a nightmare at the start, but it's going to turn around. Trust me.
Yeah. Didn't I tell both of you to not drink before you came to the show?
Yeah.
I missed that memo.
I missed the memo.
Put this bottle back.
Phil, I think they're drunk in here. I've got a beautiful idea.
I can smell the peppermint schnapps through the screen here.
Did you ever throw that up, by the way, as a kid?
Peppermint schnapps?
Yes.
No, I take it like a champ.
I did one time. I don't know why. Somebody gave me a pint of peppermint schnapps after I'd been drinking beer all day. Not a good combo.
A pint? Oh, man.
A pint of it. And honest to God, although I have a better story about that too. I can't say who it was, but it might have been a family member. Back in the day, remember when houses used to have clothes chutes? You would put your clothes down the chute. Well, this one happened at a house where that clothes chute might have been a little too close to the big, gigantic furnace pipes.
Oh, no.
His vomity shirt landed on top of one of those, and the entire house smelled like vomit.
I got to say it. I feel like if you're vomiting all over your shirt, the smart move would be to just walk it down to the laundry area. Because then everything that goes down that chute until it's wiped clean from it's just all vomit.
Throwing it away would also be an option. Walking it outside and throwing it away.
Can you imagine the smell of roughly cooking peppermint schnapps? Oh my God!
No, thank you.
Oh.
Okay. Moving on to Minneapolis to look at new taxes as downtown values plummet, which you caused, and now we have to pay for. So let's go on with other information, shall we?
Oh, the damn Pohlads. By the way, the Lynx last night, I don't know if you guys caught any of game one of the WNBA finals. The Lynx were down by 18 points in New York against the Liberty in the first half. And then they came back, they cut it to 2. And then in the fourth quarter, the Liberty extended it back out to 15 points with like 5 minutes to go. And everyone thought the game was over. The Lynx come back again. They hit a 4-point play at the end of regulation to go up by 1. Liberty hit a free throw, but they win it in overtime last night. Legitimately one of the most exciting finishes and comebacks to a basketball game. Yeah. We are the state of basketball around here. We got Lynx Dynasty about to win, hopefully, their 5th championship. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Get on the basketball bandwagon, Tom.
Well, it's only been, 70 years since we've won a national title in basketball, but, you know.
Yeah, well, the Minneapolis Lakers claim those NBA championships too. Like, we don't even get to brag about the Lakers championships because they stole the entire history and brought it to LA. I think that's how that works.
What was that, like 1956 or 7, something like that? Is that when they moved?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Obviously, I've looked it up before, but I think they've been gone for almost 70 years already, I think.
I believe it was 59-60 was.
Oh, 59-60 it was.
Was the last season,
Okay, so it was only 64 years ago, not 70.
It's not that long then.
Yeah,
okay.
Come on.
Yeah, it's not that long ago, Tom.
Nobody's lived and died during the.
We can do this. We won a national championship just 64 years ago, so we can do it again.
Yeah, remember like it was yesterday.
Back when the 3-point shot was illegal.
Yeah, there you go.
They crucified you if you thought about shooting down the arc.
There you have it. But So we got a great football team. I'll get the weekend off.
Yep.
Okay. So, and then who do we take on next weekend?
We got it's probably one of the biggest showdowns of the season so far on the NFL calendar. The Detroit Lions will be coming to US Bank Stadium, and that's probably a top 5 team in the NFL right now. Vikings also one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the league. You get to rest up. They call it self-scouting week, Tom, where you get the bye week and you look inward. You watch your own film, you self-scout, and you try to get better at the things that you need to. It's a good life lesson for all of us. Just take a self-scouting week once in a while.
I suppose there's a team that's never won anything. The Detroit Lions.
Yeah, you think that Minnesota sports teams have it bad sometimes.
Oh, God.
Now, they've been really good the last 2 years, and they went to the NFC Championship game last year, but it's like 60 years and maybe 4 playoff appearances or 5 or something. Really bad stuff.
You know my favorite period for the Detroit Lions? When Alex Karras used to badmouth the coach about once a week. It was unbelievable. Alex Karras is one of the biggest human beings ever born, so nobody was going to challenge him, including that bull in Blazing Saddles.
Exactly. Yep.
Punches a bull in the mouth.
The Lions are great because they had 2 of the greatest skill position players of all time. Barry Sanders, running back in the 90s. And then Calvin Johnson, Megatron, wide receiver in the 2000s. And those guys quit football at age, I think each of them were 29 or 30 years old, still at their peak. And they quit because they couldn't stand the idea of playing out the rest of their Detroit Lions contracts. They're like, you know what? I'm good, guys. I'm good on this.
Who owns that team now, the Detroit Lions?
The Ford family still.
Oh, it still is the Ford family. Okay. And that long they've owned that. God, they've owned it forever then.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really sad. Well, look, I mean, our football team's never won the damn thing. They've won a couple of playoff games, but I'm hoping to live long enough to see the Vikings win to hoist the Super Bowl trophy.
The Lombardi. Are you on the Twins front? Does the Pohlad announcement that they're going to sell the team get you more excited for the future of the Twins?
Yes, because I'm hoping whoever buys it spends some money, because the Pohlads have never been good at that.
And it's the other thing too, that just there's the money side, and sometimes they've had little blips where they'll spend, like they'll go Carlos Correa for $36 million. But more than anything else, it's just the general lack of passion, interest.
Yes.
You know, whenever they open their mouths, I mean, Joe Pohlad, we talked about this on the show last week. He's not talking about, hey, our mission as an ownership group is to bring this city a championship. They never talk like it's always about right sizing the business decisions to make. And, you know, we can sit here and pick nits with the other ownership groups. And Glenn Taylor's been a train wreck owner for the majority of 25 years. Yeah. But you know what? You can't poke at Glenn for not caring. He's sitting courtside with his goofy little sweaters. Right. You know, he's cheering. It's the dead of January, and he's sitting at a Timberwolves game against the Wizards. You know, Craig Leopold sitting up there in his wild suite, banging his program against the side of the chair, the Wilfs, and you don't get that passionate vibe from. They treat it as a business. They treat it as a business.
They do indeed. Glenn Taylor, one of my favorite conversations I ever had on the KQ Morning Show many, many, many years ago. I don't even know how many years ago, but he's live on the air and we're talking about this, that, and the other thing. And then I look down and I see that his wife filed for divorce just by coincidence that morning. So I said, I'm sorry, but I got to bring this up. This just popped up on the screen that apparently you're about to get a divorce and you've been married for a long time. And I hate to bring this up, but it just popped up on my screen and it's news. It's nothing that I'm revealing. It's already in the news. So, I mean, what's going on? It's got to be a little tough for you to be on the show. Sorry about that. And there's this really long pause. And then Glenn Taylor goes, she's a lovely woman. It's like, okay.
It's like, what can I say that my legal counsel would approve of right now?
That's about it. She's a lovely woman.
She's a lovely woman.
I'm trying not to laugh.
She's a lovely woman. Tom, do you have any basketball questions for me? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you don't really. Okay, well, never mind then. All right, so we do have, as we said, we got who the Gophers taking on this weekend?
UCLA, right? It's UCLA in Southern California this weekend.
Any chance?
Yeah, UCLA is not very good. So I haven't seen a spread on that. Did you guys talk this week about the story that came out? So the Gophers beat USC last weekend.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, they had lost a close, heartbreaking game against Michigan. And so PJ Fleck, between those two games, he put together these pills or capsules for everyone on the team.
Yeah. Yep.
And he like filled them with Sprite, but he gave everyone the antidote. This is the antidote to getting over the hump to beat USC. Would you trust someone? Would you trust a leader if they came in and said, "Hey, listen, why don't you just take this capsule?"
Nope. No.
It's Sprite today, but you never know if it's going to be arsenic tomorrow. I'm not that trusting.
Yeah. And the worst part is they won. So now he thinks it worked. And so he's got to now one-up himself to come up with another shtick for next game. Like, come on.
You're absolutely, yeah. I briefly met him once. He is just not my kind of guy. I can tell by looking in his eye, he's not my kind of guy.
Yeah, you guys, I can't envision you guys, although it'd be a great reality show. Tom and PJ Fleck have to sit down for a 2-hour dinner.
Yeah, there you go.
Or just
nobody else at the table, just you guys.
Yeah, or just like random tasks throughout the day. They have to like go run errands together. Yeah, little buddy comedy.
Well, there are buddy comedies like Stan and Ollie. Now we're talking.
Yeah, not
my kind of guy. I got to be very, very honest with you. Just nope. I'm good. All right. Any closing words on this magnificent sports town we live in?
I think the only closing words are if you have $1.7 billion or a group of friends with $1.7 billion, get in touch with the Tom Barnard Show and let's facilitate a deal to buy the Twins.
There's a guy, and I don't want to say his name because he's a friend of a friend, but his business is very, very well known. I think and I know you listen, sir, so I'm talking to you directly. His business. And again, his business has been around here forever, and you know exactly who he is. His business was just valued at $22.2 billion.
Yeah.
Wow. So once you take that 0.2, give it to the Twins. There you go. There's $1.6 billion for you, because this guy is a go-getter. He does, like, when he does something, he does it to the nth degree. I guarantee if he owned the team, God, it'd be so great if I could. His first name is John. I'll say that. His first name is John, and then we'll leave it at that. John, you need to buy the Twins,
John,
because you could spend more money than God. We'd probably win the World Series next year if he bought it.
John, come on, buddy.
Oh, yeah, John, come on.
John.
Pick up the phone, John. Johnny boy.
Johnny boy, let's go. Hey, and if he does buy it, the four of us are going to take credit for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if
well, we all get C-level jobs, I would assume, right? In the front office.
I'll work for free. Just let me in the door. Let me in the door.
Times are tough. You go ahead and do that.
I'll work for free. I'll just attend games. Yeah, we're cool.
All right, Phil, another brilliant report. I feel much better about sports than before you started talking this morning.
That's good. Yes, I'm glad to bring that ray of sunshine here to the world.
No question about it. But we will talk to you on Monday, I'm assuming.
You got it, guys. All right, enjoy your weekends.
Phil Mackey, ladies and gentlemen, SKOR North. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank our listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towels, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. Looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com and call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Chris Egert will not be able to be with us this morning. He's busy this morning buying the Minnesota Twins for $1.7 billion, so he can't be with us. But oh no, wait a minute! There he is. There's his picture.
Who's your guy, Tom? Is it the Davis family?
I'm not saying. Ooh, I should talk to Marty. Marty, why don't you buy the Twins?
I mean, if you've got local families who are interested, there's only a list of about 5 to 7 names that could really fall into that category, right?
Okay, so no, we won't say if one of those is the guy I'm talking about. So do you have the list of the 7 families?
I looked it up yesterday. I mean, it's the Hubbard family, it's the Cargill, it's the Schulzes, it's the Davises.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other? It's the Pohlad, which obviously
the Pohlad's buying it from themselves.
And it's Glenn Taylor. So like those are the now that I think it's a crapshoot whether a local group actually does it, or I
right.
The flavor of the day when it comes to the big picture is like these bigger groups of investors sort of. So I think that's what it comes down to. But
Channel 5's Chris Egert brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. It'd be not. You know what? We should not allow somebody to buy this team unless they're worth at least $10 billion.
Well, right. We don't want somebody coming in and nickel and diming it, right? Like,
no, we do not.
We want them throwing the money around. I don't think buying a pro team is. It's more of a. I don't want to say hobby because it's a lot of money, but anybody who's buying a team didn't make money. You know, they're not intending to use it as a big money maker. I don't think it's
right.
This would be cool to own a team, but
yeah, like they're not going in as like, this is my livelihood. If this team fails, then I'm going bankrupt.
They've both got go up front. They've made it in a different industry, so
they have indeed. I just I would like to find an owner who knows how to win the World Series like the Pohlads did win 2, Carl. And that was on Carl, by the way. Carl's the one that made the investment to make this team good enough to win a couple World Series, I think.
Well, and you got to start thinking about, and I'm sure everybody's been armchair quarterbacking this over the last 24 hours now, but go back and look at the last year and go, do you really think they just decided yet?
Yeah, no. Oh, they just shot him. Look at that. It took out his picture completely.
He was having issues in the waiting room as well, so I'll see if maybe he can.
But that's his bad personality. Oh, you were talking about with the signal. Okay, I get it. Yeah, we can't be losing Chris like that. What the hell's that? We only had like 3 minutes left with him.
He was at his house, so maybe he forgot to pay his internet bill.
Oh, he was at the house. So yeah, maybe that's what it was. Why don't you pay your bills, bitch? But he's not coming back, obviously. So I suppose we can move on. And
all right, Chris.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Egert brought to you by. I wonder if this business will fail too.
No, but I think as he was about to say, like, I don't think the Pohlads decided yesterday to sell the team, and like over the course of their actions over the last year, they probably were setting this up for a while, trying to save money on the way out.
Oh, there he is. He popped back in for the final couple of minutes. Good. Why are you at home again? Do you ever go to work?
I do. I was supposed to be traveling for football today, but my kid's out with a concussion. So
yeah, how's the noggin doing?
I'm not giving the vacation day back. I'm sorry.
It's not happening. He asked the question, what about the noggin? How's the noggin?
I don't know. Not great.
Okay, let's go. Let's lean toward your wife or lean toward you, because if it leans toward you, his brain is not working at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to preserve whatever brain matters up there that he's blessed with.
It's got to be tough to sit. I wouldn't be very uncomfortable if my son had a concussion. So I understand what you must be going through, Pally.
Well, Tevin knows the deal. It's part of the game. They're getting better at figuring it out and getting better at knowing what people's baselines are. And, hopefully that'll continue to evolve, because I think if they're going to keep playing football, they've got to get better and find different ways to try to tackle the concussion thing.
Yeah, they do. There's no question about it. It's very, very scary. Well, some of these people now, didn't they say that Tommy Kramer had like 27 concussions or something?
And that's probably
God.
That's probably the ones that were bad enough that like he.
Oh, Jesus!
I think Tevin, you can speak to this, but I would guess there's guys walking around with concussions, several of them on any given day on any given team, and that because if you can tough it out, I think guys generally try to. Even though I think that we're learning more and more that that's not what you should be doing, but.
Yeah, especially back in the day, it felt like Brett Favre, for example, somebody that comes to mind, where it felt like every time he was getting hit, he'd kind of just shake his head and, all right, I got to stumble to the huddle and then try and throw this last pass to win the game. And it's very much so a gladiator sport. And I would say people would be surprised at the number of concussions that everybody from, the star player to the last guy on the bench suffer every day, whether it's in practice or a game.
You guys ever had a concussion?
Yes, I have.
It's one.
I've never been diagnosed with one, but I'm pretty sure I've gotten one.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember at NDSU, first day of practice, we're all standing on the sideline, a bunch of freshmen, and the coach walks over. We're doing some special teams drills, and he goes, "How many of you have never had a concussion before?" And a couple of us raise our hand. He's like, "Perfect. We got the drill that we're about to go do." And then we all went out on the field and subsequently just got concussion after concussion.
Oh, God.
Lined up. Like it was essentially like when they used to do the wedge in football.
Yeah.
It was all right, we're going to line up all these freshmen and you're going to run into two of the upperclassmen that are just here to just annihilate you, to do a blocking drill.
Man.
And I remember just flipping head over heels and like waking up on the ground. Like I just got to get up and jog back over here.
This is going to sound so soft to me, but I've never played football in that. I played hockey. So it was like kind of overlapping seasons. Couldn't do both. I hear stories and I see videos of like football practices. And I'm like, why would any parent ever I'm sorry, Chris, ever let their kid play football growing up like that? Mm-hmm. It doesn't make
Chris, you dope.
It's just like grown men are like, yeah, go hurt each other.
It's like the greatest sport ever. I don't know. It's you have to play it, I think, to understand.
Oh yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's one of the most popular sports. People love it. And that was what our guy gravitated toward when he was young, and he got big and got decent. But yeah, the concussion thing, I mean, they can only have so many of them. And then Like they
Right.
just can't be playing anymore. So there's a lot of, not to belabor this point, but there's a lot of research that's coming out about hyperbaric treatment.
Oh,
Very, very promising in return in terms of brain injury, not only like concussions, but strokes and any kind of TBI. And that I think that's, I just had a conversation with a doctor friend about this last night. And he sees that where it will head one day, where these giant football programs, after they're done with practice, they'll all go into one of these giant hyperbaric chambers, and that'll be like a half-hour recovery that they'll be in there, and that it's better. It's so good for their bodies in all kinds of different ways. So,
did you ever have a concussion?
I don't think so. I think I'm with Kevin. I know I got my bell rung playing football several times when I was younger, but there was no. I mean, when I was playing, there sure as hell was no, like, you know, I didn't think anybody knew what a damn concussion was. We had a kid.
Yeah.
We had a kid who ruptured his spleen and like laid on the side. They just pulled him off the field, and he laid there on a bunch of equipment for like 2 hours.
Oh my God.
I'm saying that flippantly, but nobody knew, right? Like,
did he give like the thumbs up as he's laying on?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think about it now, and I think about how lucky they were that he didn't
die.
Yeah.
Have you had one, Tom?
I've had one. I got hit in the head with a baseball bat, and it was not an accident. The guy came up behind me and hit me right in the left side of my head with a baseball bat. And every time I have to get like an x-ray or whatever, they go, "What the hell happened on the left side of your head?" I said, "Well, a couple of cracks in there, are there?"
Oh God.
Yeah, it was not good. So one of these days I'll just go off the deep end.
Well, I just seem to be doing okay. I think you're all right.
You seem to be doing okay.
I mean, a little questionable, but I think
Jury's still out.
The endorsement I get is, "You seem to be okay, Tom. We don't know for sure, but you seem to be."
You're doing all right. You're doing all right.
All right, you pill. Well, we'll talk to you on Monday.
Yeah, all right, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend.
You too. Thanks a lot, Pally. We'll be right back. Now we have to go with some Italian guy. Is that the plan?
Not just some Italian guy, the Italian guy.
I guarantee you he's had about 95 concussions just from talking to him.
Yeah.
You think we're going to find it out?
Constant state of recovery.
Sandy is up next. I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot. Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank all our listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, It's just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some of you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towel sets, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Right on time. Like always. Tom.
Like always. Just time it out perfectly. You know what I'm saying. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevere now joining us to talk about the many, many, many concussions he's had over the years.
Well, I had 101 fights and I won every one of them but 100 of them. Did you ever see
about
that
100
from Terry Lewis? 101 fight, I won every one but 100 of them.
Have you ever had a concussion?
Oh God, yes. The worst one. I was on a flight, and I went to grab my bag from under the the seat.
Oh,
this
sure.
son of a bitch brought his 500-pound piece of luggage on top of my head.
Oh,
and
no.
Part of me was saying, you need to tell this son of a bitch what a son of a bitch he is. But I was actually, like in the cartoons when you're seeing little birdies tweeting around your head.
Sure.
That's what it was like.
Well, it got you in the back of the head then, right?
Right on top of the head. Yeah, he got me with his luggage. But I mean, he didn't even know or care that he
didn't care that he hit you in the head.
I don't even, either he didn't care or he didn't notice. I don't know how you couldn't notice. I basically softened he wasn't able to bring his luggage all the way to the ground, but it was just, and I did not have the presence of mind, because I had no mind at the time, to report it. And I actually, it was clearly a workers' comp issue that I never did anything about, because, I cleared my head enough to drive home.
Right.
But it was, that was probably the one. But also, we have horses, so we have a trailer. Tom, I can't tell you how many times I know that thing is low, but I crack my head on it because I think I've cleared it and I haven't.
I know. I hate that stuff. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? So, yes, I know I've had a concussion. At least,
there you go.
100 of them.
100.
No, I haven't had that.
So what are you going to do this weekend since you have no football game to cover? Well, you got the Gopher football
watch. Game. I mean, you've got starting again. There's Jacksonville is going to be there, a couple of weeks, because their owner is, I think he owns one of the big soccer teams over there. So they're going to be there for 2 weeks. They suck, but you could have another day where you watch 15 hours of football.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
There's that. What I'm curious is about the Vikings. How many of them left town to go to some tropical paradise? If I find out that any of the key players went, if I'm a betting man, I'm in the Survivor League, I'm picking Detroit. If a lot of these guys went out of town,
you
kind of have to, you need to you don't have to be out practicing and thinking football all the time. But when people go to a place like a tropical paradise, I don't think they're just reading a book on the beach.
You think?
Well, when do we get the news report that somebody has been pulled over or arrested or something along those
Bahamas
lines? Something along those lines, maybe a little too speedy down I-94 or something along those lines.
I'll give Egert a call. He could be on top of things. But you're right, that it happens often during a bye week.
It does, yeah.
And for their sake, it better not be Jordan Addison yet again.
I don't know. So you think, unless the Vikings are keeping it together, they got a tough time beating
this. This is a tough game anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, they are right now, they're looking to be the two best teams in the NFC. But if they get past the Lions next week, they could be 10-0 because they have crap teams coming up.
Right.
It's the Rams and I mentioned Jacksonville. They're on that schedule, and it's just a bad. I mean, the combined record of the teams they have after, I think they have combined for 5 or 6 wins. They're bad teams. So they'll be sitting pretty if they get past the Lions. Then they're looking at home field throughout.
God, really? Already?
Well, I think you can say that because these other teams have lost games. The Lions, though, are not. I mean, I do think they're the those are the two best teams right now in the NFC. The Niners looked pretty good last night, finally, but will they sustain it? Because
has Detroit lost a game this year?
Yeah, they've lost. Yeah.
Oh, they have. Okay, I didn't know for sure if that was the case or not. So
yeah, there's only two undefeated teams: Kansas City and the Vikings.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember you telling me that now. So that is the deal. I just, it's exciting to go. The weather's been terrific. The football's been terrific, including a nice victory by your Minnesota Gophers. I mean, what's going to come along and F this up, Bob? Because something is.
Okay, even now, I'm not boycotting the Lynx, but I'm not crazy about because the way Cheryl Reeve, and I like her, but the way she treated the whole Caitlin Clark issue and didn't put her on the national team.
Yeah,
could have had. I mean, she would complain to me when I'd cover the team that they don't get enough attention in the media. Well, Caitlin Clark was handed to the league on a platter to get a lot of. I mean, they sold out. The Lynx do not open up the upper bowl for games. They do when Caitlin Clark comes in.
There you go.
So I didn't watch a second of women's basketball in the Olympics, but I would have watched as much as was available if Clark was there. And now they'll have a chance again. This Paige Beckers is another great player, that could help them because she's there. Well, do you follow? And either of you follow college women's basketball? I mean, she may be on a level of what Clark was last year.
Yeah, I think Paige, as far as like an overall basketball player, she's a little bit bigger than Caitlin is. She's, I think, a more well-rounded player. She's not
Hopkins
as good of, she's not as good of a shooter, but yeah, she's a Minnesota born and raised, like you said, Hopkins. So she's one of us, and I'm excited to see her get to the WNBA. They've got a lot of stars coming up through college. Kiki Rice.
Oh, some great players.
Yeah, they've got a lot of players that are coming up.
And I still don't. And I thought about this. The Lynx had the 7th pick, and everyone was predicting that Angel Reese would be the 7th pick. They traded the 7th pick. And I'm wondering if maybe Cheryl Reeve didn't want to have to deal with Angel Reese because she's a bit of a free spirit. So maybe she traded it away, not wanting to have to deal with, such a free spirit. Who knows?
Bob, let me ask you a question. Let me go back here. So the team that they didn't put her on,
the Olympic team
was coached by
Cheryl Reeve, the Lynx
Cheryl Reeve from the Lynx coach, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I have to ask you a question because this is from my own experience. And I was born and raised here. I was born in Long Prairie, Minnesota, raised in Minneapolis after I was about 2 years old and all the rest of it. Why is it that Minnesota coaches and Minnesota business people, whenever you have to deal with them, their first thought is, well, we better knock them down a couple of pegs. They're too big a deal. Why do they have to do that here in Minnesota?
I don't know. And then you know what? They were going to win, and they did. They were going to win the gold medal with or without her, except they would have gotten so much more attention.
No
if they
doubt.
Put her on the team. Even if she didn't play a lot, they still would have gotten attention.
Yeah, and their reasoning was that the team had already been practicing together for 4 years, and they didn't want to ruin the chemistry. Which
you know what? You tell Diana Taurasi, who's like 70, you tell her, you know what? Why don't you become an assistant coach? You don't have to be on the team. I think she is 43, right?
Yeah, and like I understand it from a team building aspect. Yes, chemistry is important, but you can put the greatest shooter in the history of female basketball potentially somewhere on that team.
Yeah,
and get more attention and drive sales and the interest of your sport.
Absolutely.
If that's really what you want.
Now, let me ask this: Have you guys started the conga line to the Hubbard office to say "Buy the Twins"?
Hey, hey.
We were trying to work on it, Bob. We were thinking about maybe putting a group together and buy the Twins. I'm going to put together a group.
Mike Bilski can help.
Yeah, well, Bilski, why don't you buy the team? Bilski, Mike Lindell, all the Mikes, Michael Bryant. I'll get all the Mikes together.
Yeah,
we can.
But wouldn't that be great? And Tom, you want to be the GM?
Yes, I want to go out in the field and go, "You suck. Get back in the clubhouse."
I'd rather have you be the in-stadium announcer, just play-by-play commentating as they're all making mistakes.
Now batting.
The hell is going on?
Number 3, Carl Robinson. Boy, this guy stinks.
This guy's not very good. I've seen it all before.
Probably going to be a strikeout.
Hey, nice shirt. Be doing all that stuff. That'd be wonderful.
And pipe it into the stadium. That would
pipe it right into the stadium, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
It'll go as well as my thrown out the first pitch, which missed the plate by about 25 feet. But you know.
Who was your catcher for that one?
Kent Herbeck.
Oh, yeah. What kind of crap did he give you?
Oh, none at all. I've got about 5 Major League Baseballs at my house that just say nice pitch on them. That's all it says. That's all it says from Kent Herbeck, my good buddy. You know.
Oh, that's good.
But in any case, I want to. I'm getting scared because the weather's been so great lately, and we are getting, deeper into October, and here it comes. When it comes, it's coming big, isn't it?
You know what? I'm starting to wonder because a week from today, 76 is the high.
A week from today.
Yes, that's what I looked at it yesterday. So a week from today, the high of 76. It's not turning yet. And we keep thinking, and you know what? Even if it turns bad, I'm good with that because it's extending fall. So it should hopefully shorten winter unless it goes into July.
Well, last year, not much of a winter last year, so it might happen again.
Well, I just actually, because on my show, I have, Ruth Lord and Lord, the psychic. She actually said, she told me that there's going to be, we're going to have a real weather issue or different weather here. And I'm thinking, oh God, what are we going to have? Tornadoes? She's predicting, she thinks the weather is going to be mild this winter, that's going to be the thing that's the change, that no one's expecting a nice winter. It'd be great if we got it. Yeah. Okay. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
You just don't think it can happen 2 years in a row?
Well, it'd be great if it did. And maybe it'd be better. We'll be walking around like Bud Grant, shirt sleeves in January.
Yeah, well, he used to do that. He'd walk out on that field wearing short sleeves. I'm like, what the hell is with you, pal?
The Seattle playoff game.
Yeah, he did that. And he was pushing 90 at the time.
I remember I was at that game with a couple work buddies at the time, and we were freezing. I had like 3 sets of long johns on, overalls, 2 coats, 7 gloves, all that stuff. And then we're freezing. This guy walks out in just like a polo shirt and a hat with slacks on, waving to the crowd for the coin toss. And we're like, what an animal.
Yeah. Before the game, they let out a PSA that was like, if you want to survive watching this game, like, here's the steps you need to take. And Bud just gave everybody the finger.
His blood was thin. But he would tell players every year the same story about the Eskimos and how frigid it was, in Alaska. And they just went to work because they knew, hey, it's cold, but we got to get things done. Keep in mind, Eskimos lived in an ice house.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what an igloo is.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing there was not exactly a lot of heat emanating from those ice walls.
And what do you get? How long has Bud been gone now?
I don't know. Is it a year or 2? 2 years?
It's already 2 years.
I'm just wondering.
March 11th, 2023.
About a year and a half.
Okay, so right in the middle, about a year and a half. Bud. You know what's so funny about Bud? He came in the studio at KQ about 30 times over that 37-year period.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he walked in, he had no idea who I was. That was just kind of what. But I don't know if I've ever met you before. It's like, okay, well, good.
Well, I mean, it's I got along with him fine when he was not a coach. As a coach, he was. I only had him on his comeback year because I came in 84, the 85 year, and I remember this is before the media had, unfettered access, and now they're trying to make it tougher to get in the locker room. But Kurt Brown and I, who covered for the other paper for the Pioneer Press out at the Star Tribune at the time, we told the league, look, we're not getting in. So they made him go in. And I go up to an assistant coach and I said, hey, I got to ask you a question. He goes, I can't talk to you. I said, what do you mean? Bud said we can't talk. And I said to Bud, why can't we talk to the assistants? Well, you wanted the locker room. You can't play all the cards. And then he smiled. That was Bud, though.
That's Bud all the way, no question.
But I did I got along very well with him when he was not a coach. As a coach, not so much. But he was not a bad guy. But the one thing I will say, now that he's gone, the chances of someone like Chuck Foreman to get in the Hall of Fame have increased dramatically.
I would hope finally. He was one of the greats of all time.
But the problem was Bud would only push Jim Marshall.
I know.
At the exclusion of everybody.
And I understand the Jim Marshall thing, too.
He loves Marshall, or he loved Marshall.
Jim was a great guy, or is a great guy.
He was, but, when I'm looking, and I was not here for the Purple People Eaters, but I understand the way the voting has gone. 2 guys from the line have already gotten in. They've got, 3 guys in the Hall of Fame with Paul Krause from the defense. And when you take a step back from it, I think Chuck deserves to go in of that era. Chuck, then Ed White is amazing to me that he's not in. He played in all 4 Super Bowls, then had another career with the Chargers. And Dan Fouts, he's not in. Why the Chargers have not pushed him? And then Jim Marshall. Now, I think Bud loved him because he was a cap. He was a good leader on the team, but Bud argued that he had the most fumble recoveries. But he played 20-something years. He was a really good player.
He was.
Was he a Hall of Fame player? Well, I mean, I guess he could be. But if you look at the list of guys who are not in the Hall of Fame, and we all would assume they are, like Chuck, it's amazing some of the big names that aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's I mean, I as I'm talking here, I will see if I can find it quickly. Like a guy like do you remember? This is going way back. Alan Amici was a great running back for the Baltimore Colts back in 56. I assumed he was in. He's not in.
Really?
Yeah. But there's Bubba Smith. Remember Bubba Smith? I'm talking about guys from, Tom, when you and I were kids, right?
Yep.
Bubba Smith is not in. I just assumed he was in. It's just an incredible list of guys. And here, I'll give you let's see if I can give you a few more here.
I found a list here that as of August 5th, 2024. Joe Theismann's not in the Hall of Fame. Phil Simms apparently isn't. I would have thought both of those guys were in.
Really?
Jim Marshall listed on here.
Well,
so,
okay, Otis Taylor. I just assumed Otis Taylor was in. He was a great receiver. Didn't do too well. Vikings didn't do too well facing him in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Nobis is another big name.
Jim Plunkett.
Not in. Yeah, Plunkett's not in. Joe Jacoby isn't in. He was the
who the hell is in?
Roger Craig's not in. Yeah, there's a lot. Wow.
L.C. Greenwood is not in from the Steelers. Clay Matthews.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, Lester Hayes is another. I mean, they do have, and Sterling Sharp, he had a hell of a career. He's a 3-time All-Pro. He's not in. Hines Ward isn't in. I thought he would be in. But it's just there's a lot of guys who just think, well, they're not in, and Chuck's not in, but he did make, I will give him, really, I'm so happy for him. He's never made the cut before, never been on a list. He went from the list of 150 to the list of 60. So there are people now who are starting to wake up to how great he was. And here's what I tell people when they ask, well, does Chuck belong? He really was not a halfback. He was a fullback.
Yes.
And not offense.
Yep.
That alone, but led the league in receptions one year when he had 73. Over a 4-year span, he led all receivers, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs in receptions. And in his career, and I know you've heard me say this, Tom, played one last year to Lynn Swann, who was a wide receiver for the Steelers, has more career receptions than Lynn Swann.
Mm-hmm.
That alone should be enough to say, hey, we're screwing up. We got to put him in. And Bud told him when he drafted him, he said, you're not going to have the huge running number, yardage as a running back, but you'll have a lot of yards because we're going to use you in the passing game a lot. And they did.
Yep.
And keep in mind, when he played, he talked about this the other day on the Jim Bob Sports Jam I do with him and Jim Rich and Morris, Mike Morris. He was saying they could run all the way down the field, basically shoving you, the DBs. Now you got the 5-yard, and then you have to you can't touch them. But these guys were getting mauled going down the field, and he still caught 73 passes, which now that same, the way they are now, he'd be catching 120 passes a year.
There you have it, Sandy. Another brilliant report, I thought.
Well, I'm going to throw this out too. I want you on board on this, Tom.
Okay.
I've been telling Chuck, and he's on board with it too. The Chuck Foreman cloning rights. First athlete that starts that will be a billionaire.
I like it. That works for me.
Well, let's ground floor, Tom. We get enough money to buy the Twins with that.
Okay, we'll buy the Twins going into December. That's what we'll do, because we'll make it all the money the next 6 weeks, and then we'll buy the Twins.
All right.
All right, Sandy.
Enjoy
Thank
the
you,
weekend.
sir.
See ya.
Bob Sansevere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. A couple of minutes. Timmy Lammers joins us right after this. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Lambert brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Door County. I know where Door County is.
Have you been there?
Yep.
That's where the lovely Mrs. Lamma-meter and I were earlier this week, which is why I couldn't do the podcast, celebrating, yes, it's true, 35 years of wedded bliss.
Wedded bliss, ladies and gentlemen.
Way to go, Tinny.
She puts up with me for 35 years. It's one of life's great mysteries. But yeah, we made it. We made it. And boy, that first time we were there, I mean, it is a beautiful place,
It's
man.
gorgeous. It is beautiful.
And, you know, it's amazing when you get up in that area. It's like, you know, there's a bunch of nearby towns. They're all connected. You know, there's nothing more than 400 people in any town.
Right.
But they're loaded with businesses because there's so much tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, oh, man, it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's an idyllic life up there. It really is. I can't imagine owning a house up there, you know, because you're right off of Lake Michigan and everything.
Right.
So unfortunately, we got there on a Sunday night and left Wednesday. Just about 3 or 4 minutes from us, where there was a drive-in movie theater.
Oh.
And it was playing Beetlejuice 2 and Joker 2. And we were able to go in through the exit.
Listen,
and it was like
Peter.
Yeah, we went in. No, nobody was there. Nobody. It was during the day.
Oh,
and,
during the day. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
during the day. Yeah, no, it wasn't open. And that when I say unfortunately, because they only play movies on Fridays and Saturdays, so we're unable to see anything on the drive-in screen. But they still had. I got a picture. Maybe I'll post it on Facebook or something. They still had the speakers that you hang in the car window.
Oh, sure.
They had all the posts up. And I think that was maybe just for decoration because it said something about tune into 5:30 on your AM or whatever in order to get the audio. But God, that was cool. I mean, it's kind of like a place that's, I mean, because of the architecture and stuff, it's almost like lost in time, you know, it's not modern in any, you know, by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, if you haven't been there, it's about a 6-hour drive.
Yeah, 6 hours. Yeah.
And we skirted by Green Bay, and I've never seen, what is it, Lambeau?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we go on, take a different route. So we miss Green Bay. But what amazed me going there was, you know, when you're going to a game at US Bank Stadium, or what is it? What's the Viking Stadium?
US Bank.
That is US Bank. I'm Huntington. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I was thinking, I was getting confused with the Gopher Field. But it's like all the way in, it's like I told my wife, it's like, wait, this is really strange. It's just like driving out in the country. There's like no suburbs or anything like you get going into Minneapolis. It's just like somebody could be harvesting crops, you know, 5 miles away from Green Bay. It was weird. I don't know. I don't know why I found that weird. No big urban sprawl there, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So
no, never happened. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, if you get a chance to go there, so you've been there, you know, it's just spectacular. So
a lot of Chicagoans take their summer breaks in Door County.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can see why, man.
Yep.
I mean, it is a great getaway. It is just fantastic. So I mentioned this week I had to go deep into the well because I didn't have access to Saturday night. I'll talk about that next week because I'm looking forward to that Saturday Night Live movie. But I saw a movie that I wish I would have seen a couple weeks ago, but instead I I reviewed, and I don't regret it, but it came out the same week as Megalopolis.
Oh yeah,
and the Wild Robot. And it's like after seeing Joker 2, I wish I would have seen it last week. My God, is that movie a disaster?
Really?
Did you see the numbers associated with Joker 2?
No.
Okay, so it was tracking to make 70 million 3 weeks before opening. It kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. It made like 38 million last weekend. Now you're thinking that's a lot of money and it's number one, bragging rights, but $200 million budget.
I heard it made less than Morbius, which was like a serial like meme movie that people have made fun of. Like it made less than that its opening weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as out. I guess because I had such low expectations going in, I didn't dislike it as much as a lot of people did. The music honestly didn't bother me, but I think it bothered a lot of people because it all of a sudden you have this crazy drama, this gritty drama with the first picture, this crime drama that turns into a jukebox musical. I mean, you got Lady Gaga, I get it, but she can act. She doesn't need to sing, but they took advantage of the fact that she can sing, and she's a hell of a singer. But God, did this movie just get pasted by critics? Not that they always know what the hell they're talking about, but I mean, nobody went to this movie in comparison. You know, when you're talking about a $200 million budget, this movie is going to take a bath, man.
Really?
And you know what? The thing is, I've read that 50 million alone went to the salaries of Phoenix, Gaga, and Todd Phillips. So $1/4 of your movie, poof, 50 million bucks. They're going to get paid no matter what.
Right.
And I've seen a clip swirling around of like at some film festival during the standing ovation for the movie. You can see Joaquin Phoenix kind of like lean over to Lady Gaga, and he's like, the lip reading, I should say, this is not official, but the lip reading from multiple sources, he goes like, it's horrible. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, the movie, it's horrible. The ending was terrible. And she's like, oh no, it's fine. It's fine. He clearly, it seemed like based on this, internet sleuthing, is not a fan of the end product.
Well, yeah. And I saw that same thing, and where somebody kind of filled in, because in that video, you can see Lady Gaga kind of shocked reaction to what he's saying. And I believe that, but I also believe that the guy is his own worst enemy, because he is notorious for being, well, certainly difficult with press, but also Todd, there's a director, famous director, that he just left his project 5 days before they were supposed to start shooting. Threw the thing in complete disarray. Todd Haynes, complete disarray. And he's done that before. James McAvoy actually started in Split because he got the hell out of Dodge shortly before shooting on Split, allegedly. That was the M. Night Shyamalan picture. I read reports here where, and Todd Phillips, again, these guys are getting paid. They don't care. But he's almost like bragging, like, oh, we didn't like what that scene was like. So, we got a piece of toilet paper and rewrote the script on a piece of toilet paper and came back to the set. And it's like, really? People got too much power, and it can ruin a picture. Now, granted, Todd Phillips co-wrote the picture, but even so, I mean, when you're just going half cocked into these things, it's just not going to work. And this movie didn't work. So anyway, I think we got a break, but I can come back and talk about a couple things because Kristen's out.
A break, or you can come. You want to stay till? Can you stay till 9:30?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know
that'll work.
They told me they needed to get a break, AJ and Tevin. So I haven't talked about today's movie yet.
Them to pipe down.
I get thrown.
Pipe down.
I'll take the blunt of that. It was me that informed that we needed to hit at some point here before the show ends. So
go ahead, take the break, and we'll come back and talk about the movie and the movie I definitely recommend on streaming.
Okay. All right, we'll be right back right after this. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank all our listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it's just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products some of you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towel sets, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
This is Brett Paul from Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley. We have always had a professional sales staff on our show floors, but recently have added a few more to the arsenal. Neil Hadding was a salesperson at Valley for over 2 decades, probably the best truck guy around. He left for a manager position elsewhere, but decided to kick back and return to work with thousands of his old friends and customers. It's a similar story with Tim Condon. He spent many years in the sales and finance at Valley before spending time in Alaska, to the relief of many, many friends and customers who returned a few years back. Not a returnee, but a welcome addition to our seasoned staff is Charlie Fink. Charlie followed Neil to Apple Valley to head up the finance department. He is well known to many Twin City car customers after being in the business for over 3 decades. If you're looking for a familiar face or just the face of experience, visit one of these professionals at Jim Paul's Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or at valleycardealers.com.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard podcast, and I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBernardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBernardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Timmy Lammers with us, brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. So what am I watching this weekend at the house?
Well, first of all, in theaters, and I think you should bring your grandkids to it, Tom.
Okay.
The Wild Robot is
Really?
an amazing movie. Oh, my God. What a great movie. Just loved it. And again, it came out a couple weeks ago. Heard great things about it. And again, never trust critics. But you know what? It really is on the mark. It's based on a book by an author named Peter Brown, a children's book about this robot that's stranded on this island full of wild predators. The robot, whose name is Roz, voiced by Lupita Nyong'o, comes upon this egg that hatches, and there's a gosling in there she names Bright Bill. And the duckling, when you have a situation like that, they imprint on the first person they bond with, which was the robot. So the robot's this character's mom. And it's so sweet. It's about all these wild predators on this island wanting to get them. And then all of a sudden they all learn to depend on each other. The animation is gorgeous. It's a DreamWorks picture, heartfelt. And yes, the sure sign it's a winner. The very last scene, I got a tear in my eye.
Oh, you did?
I got something in my eye. What is that? Yeah, it was a tear.
Little dusty.
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Little dusty. Yeah. So definitely recommend it. Take your grandkids to it, Tommy. They will love it. You will love it. The Wild Robot. Great voice cast. Pedro Pascal, Mark Hamill, Catherine O'Hara. I mean, just a terrific voice cast. So go see it. I sent out an X post, formerly known as Twitter, and then all of a sudden I got a text from Joe from Louisville. Salem's Lot is awesome. The remake of Salem's Lot, or I should say the latest adaptation of Salem's Lot, is on Max. This is a fun horror movie.
Really?
Oh my God, it's so cool. And I say cool because it's based on a Stephen King novel. Remember the David Soul version, the miniseries, 2-part miniseries, 79. Rob Lowe did the role. It's about this author, Ben Mears, played by Soul in the original, played by Rob Lowe in 2004. He comes back to his old town of Jerusalem's Lot, but somehow the was wiped
Giroux's
from the
gone?
signs. And yet the Giroux is gone, so it just says Salem's Lot on the sign. And he's doing research for his latest novel. And there is a guy in town named Barlow, a mysterious fella in this very scary house who wants to take over the town and make all of the town vampires, including little kids. And when you see a little kid as a vampire knocking at your window, it's freaky as all hell. Oh my God. It's so, but it's really, it feels like it feels like it's set in the 70s. It is set in the 70s. Actually, there's a drive-in in the picture, because we still have drive-ins around, but very, very few. But you know, it's pre cell phones and all that kind of stuff, all those distractions. So it nails the essence of the 70s. It has the sort of atmosphere that I love in horror movies. It has like the shadows and the light and the fog and the moonlight and all that stuff. And again, the vampires are scary as all get out. And one of my all-time favorites, Elfrey Woodard, is a doctor in this, and she kicks ass as usual. Lewis Pullman actually is Ben Mears in this one. Lewis is the son of Bill Pullman. Actor Bill Pullman.
Oh, absolutely.
Was in Grand Times at the El Royale or whatever it's called.
Bad Times. Was he in that?
Bad Times. Yeah, he was the clerk, right?
Oh yeah, I barely remember the movie, but I'm sure that he was.
Okay.
He was also Bob in Top Gun Maverick.
Yes. Okay, that's where I'm also thinking of him. Okay.
Yeah, everybody else had the cool call signs like Hangman and this and that and Maverick, but Lewis Pullman's character was just Bob. So, but, he's a good actor, and he's got that affability. He's got this real likability, like his old man. So people want to come with the Nepo baby argument all the time, but hell, man, if you can bring the goods, bring them, and he can. He's a very likable guy. He looks like his old man a lot. I mean, he looks like the young Bill Pullman is what he looks like. So
good. Yeah,
I really, really liked it a lot. So highly recommend Salem's Lot on Max. And, it's been a bloodletting at that streaming service because David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, he shelved some movies like Batgirl that will never see the light of day. There's a Roadrunner movie that will never see the light of day.
Really?
And this one was like hanging in the balance. And it was because it was supposed to come on theaters a couple of years ago. So it's been sitting on the shelf for 2 years. It's a good movie, man. It's a great movie. So, they basically, I want to say, I can say it, shit can these movies for a tax write-off.
That's what it is. Okay.
They canned the Batgirl movie for a $90 million write-down.
God.
Hollywood.
The people who started it still get their money, so everybody got paid.
Oh, sure. No, yeah, they did. But, this is Batgirl we're talking about here.
Right.
And the directors of Batgirl, they know how to make a movie. They made Bad Boys for Life and Bad Boys Ride or Die. And they know how to make a movie, and they were just crushed by this. Yeah, everybody gets paid. Yeah, because they, obviously part of that $90 million is their salaries or whatever. But nobody wants to make a movie and have it never seen by anybody, especially if they think they got a good product on their hands. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it sucked. I don't know. Nobody will know, though. They did have a cast and crew screening of it, though. But, yeah. So what are you streaming? You got anything on your list?
No,
you guys, any of you?
I'm trying to slog through life right now. There's no question. You know what? We've been streaming The Perfect Couple.
Yes.
I hate everyone in it.
Well, and I recommended this movie to you. Everybody is hateable with the exception
of
the local police officer played by Michael Beach, who's
really
in
good.
the Taylor. He is great. In fact, I talked with him a week ago.
Yep.
Such a great guy because he is in everything. He's in Perfect Couple. He's in the he was Kareem in Mayor of Kingstown, and he's also in Tulsa King. He's Ty's dad in Tulsa King.
Right.
Great actor. So him and the detective, that his detective partner. And I told him this. I said, these hoity-toity assholes. I mean, you guys are the only two likable people in the whole damn movie.
They're hateable people. Oh God.
Oh my, the snobbiest. Oh God, they're just makes you want to vomit. These people are just such hoity-toity pricks.
They really are.
So how many episodes are you in? There's 6 altogether.
We have 1 left to go.
Okay. Your viewpoint is going to change at least about one character.
About one character.
Yeah, I will tell you that. One hoity-toity you might warm up to. That's just a little tease.
I like the actors in it. They're all very, very good, but these people are such assholes.
Oh, God, terrible. Well, I was telling Michael Beach, it's like, I swear to God, there is ice running through Nicole Kidman's veins.
Oh, she's good.
She is so freaking evil in this movie. Well, it's a mini series. It's a limited series.
Right.
And God, is she good though? I mean, isn't she amazing? I mean, you got to remember she started out in Days of Thunder and stuff like that. I mean, she has really escalated into the top of the A-list.
Mm-hmm.
She is so spectacular in everything she's in. But Liev Schreiber too. He's good.
He's terrific.
Yeah. And what do you think of Eve Hewson, the bride?
Oh, yeah, she's terrific. Oh, she's so sad though. She's always so sad.
Yeah. And I mentioned this before, but she is Bono's daughter.
Yeah, you were saying that, right?
Again, man, if you can bring the goods.
Oh, I guess.
You know, God, she is really, and she's been around for like 10 years. She's been doing this a long, long time. So, did you ever see Hitman with Glenn Powell?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep.
What did you think?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really good. The movie, TV shows and movies. Let me put it this way. TV shows are so good, I hate some of them.
Well, you hate it because it's like, how am I ever going to catch up?
Right.
Because there's just so much.
Yeah, you're absolutely
people
right.
recommend shows to me. It's like, yeah, but I got to watch 5 seasons.
Yeah.
It took me a good half dozen years before I finally got to Breaking Bad. I mean, and I did get through it. And once you start watching, you can't stop it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the daunting prospect of these great shows is that if you don't get them off the bat, then it takes a long time to get through everything. But it's worth it because they are so spectacularly done, especially Breaking Bad. And I didn't finish Better Call Saul, but I'm in like the beginning of season 2 or something like that. But I got to get through that too because he is really great.
Yeah,
Bob Odenkirk. So a lot of great actors out there, man.
There's no question about it. But so Salem's Lot, that I can find it on Max.
Max, yes. Okay. It's fun scary. It's not, disturbing scary. Like I wasn't about to review this. I've never seen the movies, but have you heard of the Terrifier movies?
Oh my gosh. Me and AJ were just talking about this. My barber was telling me, he's like, oh, you see the Terrifier 3 or whatever? And I'm like, I've never heard of them. And from what he told me, like, it's so scary that the actors, they have to take breaks so they can all like go throw up and emotionally recover.
Is that the clown?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Art the Clown.
Clown. Yeah,
I refuse to see it because effectively it's torture porn.
Yeah.
This is torture porn.
Like,
and I'm sorry, go ahead, AJ.
Well, like that, that's kind of what I think the Saw movie franchise was originally.
Yeah,
This makes Saw look tame. There was in the I want to say in the second movie was filmed during when like COVID lockdowns and stuff were happening. So they started filming and they got to a point where they had to stop on being on set. So they had to stay away. And like the director and the writers during this time that they were away, they were at a scene where the clown goes to essentially like kill somebody at their house. They spent this entire time away from set writing and meticulously figuring out, okay, how can we take this to the next level? And then the next level to the point. It's like, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever watched.
Really?
Genuinely unsettling. And apparently in the new one that is set to be released here, the actor who plays the clown, the killer, he like threw up on set because of how gross it was.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I refuse to see it. And in fact, my oldest daughter who loves watching horror movies with me said, I got 2 minutes in, I had to shut it off. The second one.
It's so bad.
But there was a UK premiere. The UK distributor noted it. 11 people walked out. 9 of them within the first 10 minutes. People were throwing up in the movie. I mean, in the theater.
Really?
Yeah, and not surprisingly, it's unrated here. They couldn't get a rating. So you know what? I don't know who likes this stuff, but it's projected to make $11 million and be number 1 this week over Joker 2, which is expected to just drop like a rock. And here's the thing. Terrifier 1 made for 50 million or 50,000. Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2. I don't know what the first one made. Terrifier 2 made for 250,000, made 15 million worldwide.
Ooh.
This one was made anywhere from 2 to 5, depending on where you read. Again, this weekend it'll make 11. Now, if studios need to pay attention to this sort of stuff, maybe start incentive pay instead of giving these actors and directors all this money up front. Instead of the leeway to go write a script revision on toilet paper. Right. Because again, they don't give a shit. They're going to get paid. So, I mean, yeah, a movie is not always determined by how much it makes, the success. I mean, Tarot, directed by Minnesotan Anna Hallberg, made 50 million worldwide, but is only the budget was 8 million. So financially, it was a huge success. So yeah, they got the same thing going with Terrifier apparently, but I won't see it.
Terrifier 3 is on what?
It's in theaters.
Oh, it's in theaters only. No, nothing.
Yeah, it'll be on streaming soon enough. This is a smart move too. The Cineverse, who's distributing it, also owns the streaming service. So if you want to see it on the streaming service, you got to subscribe. Smart business move. Yeah. So, alrighty.
Well, you did a brilliant job filling in for just a legend of a broadcaster like KB2.
I see that shirt in the back there. KB1 and KB2, baby.
There it is, hanging down, baby.
There you go.
All right, young.
All right.
Man, great weekend.
All right, you too. See ya.
Timmy Lammers filling in for Kristen Bird, who will be back, I believe, sometime in February?
Yeah, if we're lucky. It could be March.
Pal on me now.
I think her people are going to reach out to our people.
Yeah.
Reach out to Terrifier 3. Ugh. So you sugar tits aren't going to see that?
No, I guess in one scene he said that essentially this clown pulls the skin off of a lady's back or something, and I was like, "That's ouch." I heard that, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." Yeah.
So basically, I have to do that to Catherine because she always carries me, and then the layer of skin has to go.
Yeah, it's something mentally wrong with the people that even made the film. How do you?
It's very.
How do you even come up with this idea?
Very unsettling. All right, fellas, any big weekend plans?
No, not for me.
No, got a little guys weekend. It's a big college football weekend, so hang out, watch some football. Otherwise, just relax.
Actually, you know what? It's Sunday. I think is Canadian Thanksgiving, or maybe that's this weekend. I got Canadians in my family, so we're celebrating that. So
Canadian
to all the
Thanksgiving in October.
It's like a month early.
Well, I guess there's no schedule for when you discover a country back in the day and arrive. Do they eat turkey?
I guess it's all the same. We're just going over for dinner on Sunday. But yeah.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Lammers brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. We will talk to you on Monday, and the family shows up in about 5-6 minutes.